Hi everyone! I know most of you are not supposed to be watching this vlog right now, and you probably are setting aside what you're supposed to do even when you know you don't have that much time to do it anymore. With all the online class hullabaloo, I know most of you are just tired. And even when you know you have so much to do, you just don't have the motivation to do it. I get you. I get you. Today, I'd like to share to you what I do when I feel like I just don't have the motivation to do anything productive, which happens really quite a lot of time recently. Even back in law school, with all the readings piling up and never ending every day, there'd be some part of the days when I just feel like throwing everything and sleeping it off. But when deadlines are coming up, you just don't have the luxury of time to put everything on hold. And here are some quick fixes that I do to get that focus and motivation back. And hopefully, some of these tips would also work well for you. Sometimes I wake up feeling unmotivated. I just don't want to get out of my bed and start my day and do the tasks that I have to do. And usually, the first thing that I would do upon waking up is to check my phone and get sucked into the social media apps for hours. And I'll end up not accomplishing anything. So knowing this tendency of mine, what I do is I try my best not to hold my phone. So I wouldn't have any opportunity to check Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. I'd also like to make my bed, to signal my brain that the time I can spend lying in my bed is already over. Really, it's over. After having breakfast and taking a bath, I start my study session by clearing my desk, especially when I forget to or just didn't really fix my study table after a long day of studying the previous day. It gives my brain some kind of a fresh start. What I would usually leave on my desk are only the essentials for the subject that I'm supposed to be studying for that day, like my reviewers or books, notebooks, pad papers, pens, and highlighters that I would actually need. When you have so much stuff going on in your desk, you'd have the tendency to think about new things to do, even when initially you didn't really need to do them, and then you'd lose your focus. I'd give myself a good 20 to 30 minute time for social media and YouTube. Well, you may be wondering why, but I'd actually like to think of it as a reward for finally having the courage to get up. I feel like depriving myself totally of some leisure time won't do any good in making an attempt to become productive. Attempting to study requires good physical and mental condition, but when your brain is so filled with negative thoughts, it's hard to gain your focus. Allowing yourself to watch something light or to talk to your friends and share some stories might help you erase some negativity in your body. But be sure to stick to less than 30 minutes or it would be difficult to get yourself out of it. After the 20 or 30 minute mark, I keep my phone away from my desk. If I'm at home, I usually place it inside a cabinet that's far away from my desk, so it would take me so much effort to get it and I'd end up getting lazy to go and actually get it. But if you can't keep it away from you, you can also use the Forest app and turn on the deep focus mode so you won't be tempted to use your phone for some other purposes. I'd also like to turn off all notifications on my phone Seeing notifications pop up would give you the itch to check it out. And when you do, you'd end up spending the next 20 or 30 minutes catching up on something you've totally caught yourself up. As for my laptop, if it's necessary for me to use it, I turn on a Chrome extension that blocks the social media websites that I usually browse. One of the main reasons why we tend to lose motivation to do things is because we're too overwhelmed by how much things we think we need to get done for that day. We think about all sorts of things, panicking over what would happen if we don't get them done. So what I do to get over this is to write down everything that I need to do just to get them out of my head. Without actually writing them down, you'd spend all day thinking about tasks that you need to do instead of actually doing them. Once I've written everything down, I try to schedule which tasks I need to do when. I make sure not to be too strict about my schedule. I feel like doing a specific schedule by the hour or minute gives me much more anxieties compared to just writing down the tasks that I need to get done, say in the next 3 hours or in the morning or tonight. If I schedule tasks like, okay, I need to write the summary from 9 o'clock to 9:30 and then read the book from 9:30 to 10:30, at 9:15 my brain starts to panic because I'm not yet done with the summary that I'm supposed to be done in the next 15 minutes, and at the same time I start to think about the next task that I need to finish in an hour. I've also learned to dissect things and break them down into smaller tasks so that while they do appear daunting initially, the tasks begin to look manageable and less overwhelming. For example, if I have to read 700 pages for the week, 700 appears to be a lot, and so I'd always feel anxious that I won't get to finish it in time. But if you think of it as, say, 100 pages per day, or 50 pages in the morning, kind of feels a little less overwhelming, don't you think? Another tip is to never forget to take breaks. Even when you're so pressed for time, it's counterproductive to force yourself to do things continuously for long hours. Some use the Pomodoro technique, but I personally don't use it as much. I'd usually schedule my breaks based on the readings that I need to finish. Like after a chapter or a certain number of pages, I take a 15-minute break. This works better for me because the thought process isn't interrupted. When it's interrupted, you'd spend the next few minutes trying to figure out where you ended and getting back to that same thought process that was cut short. But it's always up to you. Do what works best for you, but the important thing is to take a break. Look at your window so your eyes could rest, go for a short walk, get a snack. While I was still in school, if I was staying in the library, I'd transfer to the coffee shop to get a cup of coffee and bring a reading material that I can read for an hour. On my next break, I'd go back to the library. This way, I was able to somehow change the scenery, the ambience. When I was still studying in a coffee shop in the mall, I'd leave my stuff to my friend and take a short walk around the mall. But best not to bring your wallet with you though. Now that we're stuck at home, I'd go out of our house, look at our plants, talk to my parents, eat my snacks. I've also read somewhere about this low effort hack. Basically, you do things with minimal effort for smaller progress instead of trying to perfect things at one go and ending up not getting anything done. One example is when you're writing a paper. Most of us try to write a paper that's ready for submission in one go, but we end up spending a good amount of time staring at a blank document. To get over this stage, what I do is I write down what's on top of my head. If I can't find the right words easily, I just write down what it's about. It's basically a rough draft. The goal is to get past the blank document. Words will start to come once you get in the zone, and that usually happens when you see a lot of ideas already coming together. If I'm getting tired of reading the whole day, I would just usually read the book instead of highlighting every bit of information in it, so as to lessen the muscles and senses at work. If I don't feel like reading anymore but I still feel unprepared for the upcoming exam, I'd listen to audiobooks or lecture recordings. This way, I feel like I'm kind of tricking my body into thinking that I'm not studying anymore, but at least some information still entering my brain. I usually have some sticky notes with me so that if something random comes up in my mind, which I think I need to do, I write it down so I won't forget it. And at the same time, I get rid of it inside my brain. Otherwise, I'd spend the next hours trying not to forget it. And knowing how forgetful I am, that's going to take a huge amount of effort for me to do. Worse, I'd put aside what I'm doing right now to get that thing done. Finally, and maybe this is very cliche advice, but I find it really effective, especially in law school and now in my bar review. Think about your why. Why you're doing all of this. Why putting yourself under the pressure of getting everything done. Why are you here? And most especially, how far have you come? How close are you to your goal? I hope that these little tricks would be able to help you regain some motivation for your online classes. If it did, I hope you could like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it to your friends as well. And if you have some other tips to get motivated, I'd also love to know them in the comment section below. Best of luck everyone. Till next time. Bye!